Serena, we finally got a guy to come to the show, like twice in a row. Look at that.
Well, were you sick of talking to women?
Never. I have a house full of women.
That's right. You do.
Well, I'll let you introduce them.
Well, today guests, we have Steve Machuga, Executive Director at Stack Up. Hello, Steve.
How y'all doing? Thanks for having me on today.
We are good. And the first thing I want to bring out is that you were an Army officer. So I just want everyone to know that up front so they can go ahead and turn the radio off or the YouTube or whatever they're doing before we get started.
You're not hurting my feelings. I've heard it all. Although one of the nicest things one of my guys said to me, one of the nicest compliments I ever got in the service was, "Sir, you should have been a sergeant." I was like,
yeah, see, that is the ultimate.
Damn, that's good.
That is good stuff right there.
That's tasty. Yeah, that means you're all right. You're all right, guy.
Yeah. So you know what? That's why we brought you on. And I want to know about your company.
Well, I'm here to talk about my company.
I'm ready.
And we kind of talked about this as much as my company. So I founded Stack Up, the military charity, but it's not really, it's a charity. So it's really the people's which I had no idea when I started the charity. I was like, no, this is mine. It's like, well, technically no one owns a charity.
Right. I learned that as well.
Did not know that, but yeah. So Stack Up, we're a military charity. We support U.S. and allied veterans through gaming and geek culture. And what is that? What does that mean? That's Dungeons and Dragons. That's video games, comic books, you name it, Pokemon, anything. That's us, and that's what we do. We help. I heard the phrase recreational therapy not too long ago, and it was like, oh, I'm stealing that. It's really good. It bottom line, increased morale, getting guys and gals to talk with one another and interact, and not putting them on a leather couch at the VA, but sitting them across from a table and playing board games together or cards or something where they're interacting with one another. So they drop their guard and they feel happy to talk with one another. And then they might actually talk about things that are bothering them.
Right.
Like they feel comfortable with the friends and family that they're creating through gaming, through online gaming and things like that. So that's where it is. That's how our organization runs.
Well, this goes right along with our theme from last week. We had Michael Geyer on, and he was talking about post-traumatic stress and alternative therapies, right? And this is one of those. This is an alternative to getting a bag of drugs from the VA.
Yes, and we all know how that turned out. So it's kind of like we're in an era now where it's like, okay, we tried the hard drugs. That wasn't great. Let's not do that anymore. What else do we got? Okay, let's throw everything against the wall and see what sticks. And fortunately, because what we do is pretty cool, it gets a lot of traction because veteran service groups are not all that sexy or fun. You know, it's the, veteran crisis line and the VA, and it's the usual suspects. And then I like saying we roll in like Denver the dinosaur on a skateboard with, metal music. It's like, who are those guys? It's like, we're the rated, the gaming term is we're the rated M for mature charity. We're veterans. We're a bunch of veterans. And, we're not, we're dealing with adults who have dealt with adult problems. We're not a 6-year-old with leukemia. And I used to call them blameless victims, but it's like people that are just, we're flawed and have faults and problems. And we're not always the most supported group out there, as much as everybody likes waving flags around and saying we support the troops. It's not always the case. When you actually put, boots on the ground somewhere, it's we're kind of seeing that right now, right?
Right. Or when they actually have to hire a veteran with post-traumatic stress.
Oh heavens. No, they're just going to go shoot up the office. We can't do that.
I know. Well, I was going to say your company sounds cool, but then you said Dungeons and Dragons, and I just can't put those in the same sentence.
Oh, well, see, you missed the boat. That shit's cool now, man. You missed it. It's totally, the nerds won. Like the Bill Gates of the world. And, the jocks and the captains of the football team are now, mopping up floors in the nuclear waste dump somewhere. And now all the nerds who run your software and run your Zoom,
that's true,
created this or created that, they kind of in charge. And now they're space racing with one another. If you watch the Jeff Bezos and, that's
Elon.
Nerdy ass shit. Elon Musk, super nerds.
Well, Serena's husband's a nerd because he was a nuclear powered submarine guy like me, but he was back aft. So he was like, we call him nuke.
I mean, he's definitely a nerd. I don't want to blow his cover, but
but he's a mechanic nerd. So he can fix shit and he plays Dungeons and Dragons.
See, even on the same boat, you were like, with those are We're the
Yeah,
cool guys.
total
You
nerd.
guys are the nerds.
Total
It's like,
nerd.
y'all are
doesn't-
still on the same.
He
I
doesn't
know.
play. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons for him. It was World of Warcraft.
Oh,
There you
World of
go.
Warcraft.
Ooh,
No,
that was-
how about some LARPing? No LARPing?
No.
but- all right. Now, all right. So there's drawing a line. in the
Oh,
sand.
is
Now,
that
hey,
the line?
I'm
Like the
not.
line?
Yeah, that's a pretty big one. I mean, just personally for me, hey, I'm
Yeah.
not here to yuck your yum. Whatever makes you happy and get you out of bed.
That's a good one.
You want to dress up and throw tennis balls at one another, hey, whatever. That's great.
Oh my God.
Not my
Lightning
thing,
bolt.
but
Yeah. Right.
that's the one everybody knows, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well-
no LARPing. No LARPing at the Moyer house. Actually, I think that was
Serena,
of the-
that's not true, but we're not going to talk about it. But go ahead.
that was one of the lines drawn. But then we got married, had kids, and then your world
Changes.
turns upside down. Yeah.
Next thing you know, you're in a cocktail waitress,
Yeah. Right.
live action role playing. But anyway, next.
Well, I feel like I just missed some context there. That's-
That's okay. So before we get off track, which we always do,
Mhm.
it sounds like this is a great program for veterans, and I'm guessing it's free.
Absolutely. Yep. Paid by donors. Yep. So, all right. So we have 4 programs that we support veterans through, and let's go over that'll make a little bit
Sure.
more sense for as far as what we do. So we have our supply crate program. That's the thing that started it all. It was just me boxing up Xboxes and sending them overseas to units deployed forward. Now it's expanded to Xboxes. We do video game computers. We do, or just gaming rigs. We do, and not just folks deployed forward, but folks recovering in military hospitals and guys and gals that are struggling back home. We've kind of realized that's the new front, right? Like the military's broke all of its toys, and now it's our job to kind of fix them while they're home. And this is a big piece of it. So getting guys and gals set up with gear back home so they can play games with friends and have fun and their family and things like that. So that's our supply crate program. That's one.
Okay.
We have our Air Assault program, where we fly disabled or deserving veterans to various gaming events, studio tours, like you were talking about World of Warcraft, BlizzCon, Comic-Con, things like that. Getting guys and gals out together to have a great time together, doing cool stuff, having a unique VIP experience. We get signed autographs from folks. We get to meet all kinds of stars and things like that. So that's our second program. Now, and especially now that COVID restrictions are starting to lighten up, we're actually able to do that more nowadays.
Are they coming back? I mean, I know I just left Seattle, and I know Comic-Con and those things they didn't happen. But is it?
Actually, they did this year.
Okay.
We had Emerald City Comic-Con was in December, I believe. And then we were at Chicago City Comic-Con in November. San Diego Comic-Con was November. Yeah. So it was very busy end of the year because everybody was trying to squeeze it all in at the end of the year last year.
Well, that's great.
So so that's our Air Assault program. We have our Stacks program. We got about 30 teams nationwide that go out and volunteer in their neighborhood, kind of do some good in their area. And then lastly, but certainly not least, we have our online, our Overwatch program, which is 24/7 suicide prevention online through our Discord channel. So if somebody wants to talk, they need to talk. We have trained volunteers ready to go day or night. So that's us. That's all 4 major programs, and that's what we're here doing.
Well,
Wow.
I really want to hook you up with a company or a charity called the Firewatch after this. We can talk.
All right.
Another great company that does a lot of good things for veterans. And I want to go back to what you said about not owning, a charity organization, and you start one. And I learned that lesson too. And even if you own a company and you found the company, a board of directors can always boot you out later.
Yeah. I am. So everything's going great with our charity, and our board of directors is almost, I don't want to say figureheads at this point, but they're just like, yeah, do whatever. You're doing great.
Right.
This is working out really well.
Until it doesn't,
yes,
then you're out.
Not always. Yes. That is exactly how that works. So I am beholden to a board of directors. So there is somebody kind of keeping an eye on things. It's not me just running willy-nilly over here. And so, but they like me, so it all works out.
Oh, that's good. And I'm trying to figure out how to get me some video games. That's what I'm doing right now.
It turns out I know a guy. So what's your story? What do you mean get some video games? Like,
I'm just kidding. You know what?
I wasn't sure. I was like, if you,
I have a PlayStation 4, I guess, that's in my daughter's room that, she plays, and I have a 3 that plays some DVDs that I never play because everything's streaming now. So I love games, and I used to play a little bit, but I'm not a gamer. Like I'd play a little Madden every now and then, and and was it Army of Two or Army of Darkness? I don't remember.
No, Army of Two. It's the one where
Yeah.
you're playing two people wearing masks.
I love that one. Yeah, that was awesome.
That's a great one. I love how you're like, I'm not a gamer, but I play these games. It's like those are
those. But I know some people do it hours and hours a day, but that game probably lasted me 2 years because I'd play it a little bit here and a little bit there. But it was fun. Like you get lost in the world.
It's a pretty solid game depending on which one you were playing. But yeah, it's especially if you're playing with someone else. Again, it's Army of Two, so it's like if you're playing with somebody, a lot of fun.
Well, I know my daughter.
I'm a Tetris solitaire kind of girl.
Oh yeah,
still gaming. That still counts. We'll count it.
Okay,
I'm a whiz. Candy Crush on my phone. Still a game.
No, I'm a whiz with Tetris. My Game Boy, I wore that SOB out.
Serena, did you build a farm in Facebook when it first came out in the Farm Town or whatever it's called?
No.
It's Farmville. Yeah.
Oh, baby. Farmville.
I did not.
They just shockingly, they just announced another sequel to Farmville.
I'll be passing that up.
We're still doing this, huh?
Well, on the phone, it's different. With you connect veterans, which is really the important thing. I mean, a lot of times we talk to a lot of veteran organizations. We talk to a lot of veterans doing what we do. And when they get out, it's really the disconnect that seems to put them over the edge. Not one thing, a series of small things, but if they have a group of people, they feel useful, part of a team, that usually doesn't happen. They usually do very, very well. So companies like yours make a huge difference in their lives.
Yeah, people used to laugh at what we did as an organization. They didn't understand. Like they're just like, "What was video gaming? That video game is just for nerds, and this is dumb, and I don't understand." It's like actually online gaming, and Serena had the right of it with World of Warcraft. There's you get pretty intensive, and you need to. There are certain jobs and roles that you play, and it's like you are a part of a team, which is a part of making veterans feel like they matter and are important and feel like they are, a part of something larger than themselves, like the military. So a lot of guys and gals, they show up day one in the military and they get in and they realize, okay, well, this is absolutely 100% not what I want to spend the next, I'm going to do my time and I'm going to get out. And then they spend the next 3 years figuring out, all right, I'm just going to get out and I don't care. And this is going to be great when I get out. And they run so fast out the door, they forget they're leaving 4 years of family and friends that they have made in the military behind, and they get into the cold, cruel world with the rest of the, thank you for your service civilians. Right. And it's a tough realization. Like, yeah, you're just another cog in the machine now. You're just doing the 9 to 5 and nobody really gives a shit about you. It's about some other organization's bottom line. And, it's a tough realization. So having, this is a great way for folks to interact with one another, when they leave military service, those could interact with the guys and gals who are still in, they can play games at night together and they can, interact through chat clients and things like that. So,
awesome. It's not far-fetched. You can, not being even a service member, there are people that do like play therapy, with kids, to get them to talk, and they play games and whatever. And, even as adults, you can do things like chess and things like that with a therapist, even,
Well, that was, funny you mentioned that. Is I had the realization, I used to watch a lot of Law and Order SVU with special victims. And that's when they would, interact with children. And a great way, whenever they would bring in BD Wong to interview the kids, he would put them in front of a coloring book and just let them scribble along. And it'd be like, then you start asking questions and they'd be totally distracted and more willing to open up. And it's kind of like, I did an interview once upon a time for Polygon, which is a gaming website. And it was a video interview. They were doing a whole profile on me, but they were doing it while I was playing a video game. And the stuff that was coming out of my mouth, you have as a charity owner and as somebody who has a line of, okay, this is what I'm going to say to somebody. I have a script, generally speaking. But when I was playing that game, I was 50% focused on that and 50% okay, somebody's talking at me right now, like I have to pay attention to that. All right, I'm trying to line up shots and things like that. The stuff I was saying was just like, oh, okay, and now I see why they do that. It takes you out of your your comfort zone, and it's a great way to distract you from keeping your walls up, keeping your guard up.
Well, they would be bleeping some of the stuff I was saying, because when I play video games, I get pretty into it.
Yeah, definitely.
Bleep. That's what the whole interview would sound like, Serena.
Yeah, right. You haven't gotten beeped yet on this podcast, only me.
But only Serena. Serena, Yes.
So-
Are we not allowed to swear? Because I've been
No,
racking
no,
up
no,
a couple
no.
already.
You can
No.
swear. You can swear. But Serena,
Sorry about
you know
that.
how you find that line? Serena
Okay.
found the line.
I found the
Oh.
line.
We were
All right,
wondering who
then.
was going to be first. I kind of knew who was going to be first, but I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
I'm married a sailor. I can't help it.
That's true.
Okay,
Oh.
so how does someone find you guys?
Yes.
A website, I'm assuming, but give us the details on that.
Yep, just head on over to stackup.org. That's the website there. When you get there, if you're in dire need to talk to somebody, there's a pop-up that shows up that says, hey, do you need to talk to someone? Push this button. It'll sign you into our Discord chat, which is our chat client. And just say, hey, I need some help. When you get into the chat client, and there, we've got more than enough people ready to go. But yeah, there's plenty of, you head over to the website. There's all kinds of, you can kind of see where we're coming from. That's the best place to get started.
Okay.
What about eligibility? I was going to say, who's eligible for this, or is that a long list?
Well,
And you have to check
it's
it out.
no, it's not really long. I mean, did you serve? It's U.S. and allied veterans, so that's we make that distinction. We were primarily focused. We get so many requests now. We're kind of looking
Right.
at folks who are for supply crates and air assaults. We kind of keep it to honorable discharges, but I know, everybody's got every dishonorable discharge or general discharge has their story. Well, let me tell you about Sergeant so-and-so. And it's like, all right, yeah.
Okay.
So, but generally speaking, because we get so many requests, it's
Mhm.
a good way to just go, okay, this kind of narrows it down to like, okay,
Right.
we don't have to think about, well, were you a dirtbag while you were in? It's like, we're not like, sorry, like we got so many requests, we have to narrow it down some way. And it's
I
like,
stole a couple of cars, but it's okay. I've changed.
yes. Well, hey, people do. I get it. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like we get so many, we're handing out free stuff. So it's one of
Right.
these things. It's like we have to narrow the field somehow. And it's
Sure.
like, sorry.
Sorry.
So then how do you find the people that are on the other end of Discord? Like if a veteran were to sign up and to chat right away, who's on the other end? Who's there talking to them?
Just volunteers, people that have come out of the woodwork over the years that have said,
Okay.
hey, you know what? I found out what you guys are doing. This is awesome. I want to get more involved. I want to help. This is a great way for me to help. I can put in some time. They go through a little bit of training and they're good to go. So it's
Awesome.
between volunteering. It's just, and people come and go, I mean, it's volunteerism. You get what you pay for, right?
Mhm.
So, and some people are here for brief moments of time and they help out where they can once or twice and then they disappear and that's fine. But then every once in a while you'll get folks that really like, no, we truly believe in your mission and we love what you do and we're going to stay here and do this. So yeah, whether it's going out and volunteering locally or it's doing it online with our Overwatch program. Yeah, that's good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. And thank you for coming on. We'll give the listeners all your information. We'll do a blog and let them know how to get to you. And I appreciate what you're doing. I know Serena appreciates what you're doing.
Mhm.
And you're welcome back anytime, especially if you come up with some new fancy product. But I'm not gonna come on there and play any of the video games. I feel like I may get addicted again. What do you think?
Perfectly. Well, yeah, it's too much of a good thing, right? Yeah, that's something we get. Oh, video games can be really bad. It's like, yeah, so can anything.
Anything.
Sure. Yeah.
Hey, Fortnite. That's all I got to say. My daughter and Fortnite. Oh
There
my
you go.
gosh. Yeah. I see it on my credit card bill, so I know how much they play. So, all right. Well, hey, I appreciate your time and we look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.